Good morning, everybody. Can't wait to do this video. Stuff has gone down. Shit got real. I had a message from a new friend on chess.com who said, have you looked into the Rousseau gambits and you like the King's Gambit? And I'm like, don't think I've ever heard of the Rousseau gambit. And so I've just discovered, it feels like I found the bloody Holy Grail, right? Because if you know me, you've been following my stuff for a while, you know that I've been scratching around trying to find a really nice response to how to play as black, right? That suits my style. And I've tried a few things in the past, and recently I've been playing the Scandinavian modern with this. But, you know, that kind of, you know exactly what I'm trying to say, right? And so, if you know me as well, you've been following my channel for a while, then you'll know what I've been playing and having great success with the white pieces, which has been the Vienna Game. And very, very often you'll get the Vienna Gambit because your opponent sees your knight come out controlling two center squares, and they think, normal developing move, what can possibly go wrong? And it's f4, and that's what can possibly go wrong. And if they accept, they're already in serious trouble. And here, if I stick on the fish, then white is half plus 5 already. But if they play the queen out, it's now 1.8 to pin the pawn, right? And now 2.3, and white's basically winning in this position. And the knight has to retreat, and it's all going Pete on. And you win lots of games from there. And the Vienna Game is great, and there's lots of other cool lines in it. If they don't play the knight out, they might play this knight out, and you might get into these lines with this. This is great fun as well, attacking the pawn there, inviting this. That's all just jolly good. If they throw this bishop out straight away, you've got queen h5 with the wayward queen attack, actually the correct move, right? If they play the knight out and you play this and they decline it by bringing their knight out, then already we're almost +2, because now we've got the Halloween line with this, and then this knight has to disappear somewhere, and whatever happens, you're going to play e5. With a commanding, it's just great fun. It's great fun. It gets you into open, sharp, tactical lines. Now, having the black pieces, as everybody knows, is bloody boring. However, somebody, TXN23 or something, I can't remember this very cryptic name, said, what about this Rousseau gambit? I'm like, I've never heard of the Rousseau gambit. Well, boys and girls, let me show you the Rousseau gambit. We'll just stick on this Lichess analysis board for the time being. So, e4. And this is what I'm basically saying to you. You're a Vienna player, like me. Yeah, I know, I'm flirting with the King's Gambit at the moment. But it's got its similarities, okay? And it's all to do with the King's Pawn, okay? So, I'm saying that you should consider going down e4, e5 lines. And particularly, the thing is, if we're all here to learn chess, we're all here to improve. So just playing the same stuff over and over again, which is why I find the Scandinavian a bit dull. And it does have a dull reputation, right? Yes, e4, e5 can get you into a bunch of different things. However, let's get rid of this. We'll stick on the player's database. We'll go all levels, blitz and rapid, all right? Knight f3, 66% of the time. 2/3 of the time you're going to get this. You might get the center game. You might get the bishop's game. Yeah. You might get the King's Gambit. Okay? All good fun, all great fun, right? Center game, you've got knight c3, the Vienna. You can face all these things, right? But that's a way to get lots of good experience in lots of different things. Okay, now, which is what professionals, the titled chess teachers, recommend that you do with the black pieces, play e4, e5. Obviously, if they play d4, then, well, you can still play e5. You've got the England gambit then, but that's into spicy territory. Now, so you're going to see this most of the time, and I'm suggesting the incredibly boring knight c3, knight c6. Okay, now, here, so 24 million games we've had, 10 million of those have had bishop c4. The Italian game is more common at the beginner and improving level. It's a bit more manageable than the Spanish, which is this. Now, in second at this point is the Spanish, the Rey Lopez, named after the Spanish priest. And that's played 28% of the time on average, but at the master level, the Rey Lopez is played more. And then you have d4, which is known as the Scotch. And the Scotch is lots of fun as well, right? All good stuff. Now, but you're a Vienna player, and you want to spice things up a little bit, okay? And so, the Rousseau gambit is against the Italian. If they play the Italian with bishop c4, then you play, guess what? Off you go, Freddie. Freddie f5. Now, check this out. Remember, this is at all levels on Lichess, 1600 to 2500. That's the entire Lichess database. On average, 49% win rate for black. Why did nobody tell me about this bloody opening? How have I been playing chess relatively seriously for like 3 years and no bastard has told me that this existed? And I didn't even go and look to find it myself, right? This is bizarre. This is bizarre. Now, I've made myself a Lichess study, and I have to say, guys, that I'm leaning against Chessable now. Chessable gets on my tit ends, to be fair. With the, I don't much like the way it teaches you moves and shows you one move and then brings it back and then you have to do that move. It's like, come on, please, right? But yet the way that it then goes on to test you isn't quite right either. It's a good tool, it's not a great one. What I want to do is, what I would love Chessable to do is to, so I'll pull up Chessable because I'll show you something. So I've pulled up, let's look at the bad motherfucker, right? We'll look at the bad motherfucker opening, okay? And in fact, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do, have I got Rousseau? No, I haven't got Rousseau. I've got a King's Gambit one. Yeah, there we go, King's Gambit. I don't think I've studied this yet, so I'm going to click Learn. And I'll just explain what it is that Yanks might... So it's saying learn the King's Gambit. And then it's showing me e4, and then it said, go on, you try it. It's like, okay, I know this. What I want to do is I want to practice going bang, 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 bang in the early moves in the King's Gambit. All right, Bishop's Gambit, we know. And then Bishop c4, yeah, okay. And if they play d6, we play d4. But you keep having to, it's too much clicking, right? And it's kind of slow. And now it wants to test me, okay? But here, so in Chessable, you can add your notes to the, when you define a course or a line in a course, right? You can add your own notes to say, show this before the move or after the move. But here, it's, I don't know, it doesn't seem to show them. That's my problem. So it's good, but it's not great. And it may be that I need to understand Chessable a bit more, so please let me know if there's a way for me always to see my notes when I'm practicing an opening. Because the idea of drilling the opening, okay, now it wants me to do it again. Okay, we're playing the King's Gambit, Bishop's Gambit, there. And now I've kind of remembered the moves, kind of. And you see here, look, these are the notes that I wrote, but it's not, what I want to do is I want to train. I want to train myself using my own notes. And what this has done is it's tested me, but not really trained me. So I want to show these notes, right? I want to show the reasoning, and I want to say that before this move, okay, so for example, white plays g5. I want this to set. I want it to coach me through it by saying, okay, what do we nearly always play against g5? Well, it's h4 to undermine the defense of this pawn. Okay, right. So the Rousseau gambit. Now, so I've made a Lichess study, and what's great is now I believe you do have to be logged into Lichess to do this, but you can create a Lichess study, and guess what? You can make it public. So all you guys can come along to this thing, and I've got sync switched off. If sync is switched on, everyone who looks at the study sees the same position, the same moves, right? If the study owner is messing with it, but we've got that switched off. So you can come along and you can browse this to your heart's content. So I've made one on the King's Gambit. This one's on the Rousseau, but wait right there because it gets better. Okay, so very quickly we'll have a look at the Rousseau. So the Italian game and f5. This is our starting position. Okay. Now what I've then done is I've made a chapter for the top 4 responses, and here are the top 4 responses. E takes f5, d3, d4, knight c3. Okay. Now 2 of these responses are okay for white, and 2 of them are bad. And guess what? The most common, so this is the e takes f5 chapter. The most common, e takes f5, this is bad. And look at this, guys, look. It's almost like we're in the Vienna, but with the black pieces, and this is the point. We've got our queen's knight out, right? Look, just go back one move, right? Imagine that this bishop isn't here, and this is the Vienna gambit, starting position. It's just that white's got a bishop out on the board. Whoop-de-doo, okay? Now, if white takes this is the Vienna gambit accepted backwards. That's all it is, okay? And what do? If you're a Vienna gambit player, we push the pawn, right? In the Vienna gambit, we push e4 to e5. Here, we're pushing e5 to e4, and the knight is embarrassed and has to run away. And there's a couple of things it can do. If the knight, yeah, exactly, right. This is a mistake. Right? Look at this. This is insane. If white pins the pawn by moving the queen, we know exactly what to do, exactly like the Vienna gambit, blah, blah, blah. The knight has to retreat, and we bring out our knight, and happy days. And we're bringing out our knight because there's this exact same threat as there is when you're on the other side of the board with the queen coming out to the h-file with check, right? And happy days. And let's stick on the fish. 1.6 in black's favour. There we go. All right, now what else can happen from this position? Okay, so from here, so what I'm going to do there, I'm going to go force variation. Okay, so, oh no, I'm not going to do force variation. I'm going to say promote variation. There we go. Because this whole chapter is on that particular move. E takes f5. By the way, it's not the end of the world if you create a big old chapter and then want to break it up into smaller ones. It doesn't make it too easy for you. What I'd like to be able to do would be to say clone chapter, or even right click on a variation and say make a new chapter from here. That would be awesome, Lichess developers. Awesome if you can do that. So what I had to do was I had to download the PGN, because originally I had all of these lines in one chapter, and I thought it'd be nice just to flick between chapters, and it makes the notation a bit easier, right? So what I had to do, I downloaded the PGN and I re-uploaded it again for each new chapter, which you can do. It's not too bad, but it could be even sexier than that. So what else can they do? Well, they can retreat the knight straight away. Okay. Instead of blocking with the queen, so they can retreat the knight straight away, and that's, you know, black is already slightly better. And if they do that, then we're going to push d5 and harass the bishop straight away. The bishop's going to retreat or come here. Bishop b5, yes, is the most common, and then we play this, right? So Vienna players, you are in your happy place. This is all good. What else can they play? They could play knight to d4, which is actually the best move here. And if we simply develop the knight, the engine gives an equal says that it's equal, as you can see here on the evaluation bar. But check this out. In the real world, black wins 2/3 of the time. Wins 2/3, 66% of the time with this line. If they take our knight, we recapture with B. Familiar? Castles. D5, controlling the centre, making life very difficult for this bishop. They retreat the bishop, and we capture this pawn. And look, and we go on to win most of the time. So that's all you need to learn for that particular line. Now, the best move from... I need to keep flicking the board. This is an annoyance as well, if anyone from Lichess is watching, right? That when you switch chapters, it always goes back to white's position, and I can't figure out how to say, actually, this is a study as black, not as white. Okay, so the best two moves for white are, there's D3. Now, Vienna Gambit players will know this. D3 isn't a particularly strong response. Well, it's D6 if you're playing the Vienna Gambit, right? So here we've got 44 for black, 52 for white, and there's a whole video on this which I am working through right now, and I'll show you what it is. It's not that one. It's this guy, Grandmaster Igor Smirnov, right? And his video is the best chess opening against E4. Every move is a trap. Okay, I'm working my way through this. I haven't done it yet, but you know, I'll give full credit to Grandmaster Smirnov, because again, and he was also the guy that where I discovered the bad motherfucker opening as well, out of interest, which is another response to the Italian, but different. Okay, so this doesn't take you into the bad motherfucker line. This takes you into this line. Bad motherfucker would be if you play your knight out first, they bring their knight here, and then you take this pawn. All right, that's the BMF. We're not playing the BMF. We are playing the Rousseau. Okay, so bishop comes out, and we play this. Okay, so like as with the oh, I'm on the wrong one. So D3 is okay for white, and white does pretty well here. If white knows what they're doing, the best move actually is D4, exactly like the Vienna Gambit. And then we could probably go down the same line. I don't know, but I haven't checked all this out yet. I'm going to do it, but the point is, as I do it, I'm going to be building my repertoire in all of this, and you can come along and you can catch up on what we're doing. I will put the link in the description, okay? And then finally, there's the knight c3 line, and this is actually a blunder. Knight c3 is not good because we hang on. Again, we have to switch the board, right? Apparently this is seen. Okay, so here we go. So knight c3 is, we've just played our pawn out here. They play their knight to here, right? We take on there. Now, this move is, sorry, okay, so knight c3 itself isn't a blunder, but this is already much better for black, right? If they take the pawn there, then d5 and we fork the knight and the bishop, right? If they capture our knight here, we've got lines for all of this. So that's the point. Now, what I'm going to show you now is something different. So we're going to go to learn, study, and I'm going to show you. So this inspired me, right? And I'll explain what it is. It got me thinking, and can't remember the name of this. Schliemann, all right? Schliemann defense. Okay, now pay attention. And enable sync. No, we're not going to sync. Open Explorer. Yeah. Okay, so new one, chapter 1. I don't know. Keep it chapter 1. So what are you on about, Hunty? Well, I'll tell you what I'm on about. Got me thinking. I like the sound of this, and I'm inspired to play e5 against e4 and to go into this. And if they play the Italian, then we know what to do. We're going to play the Rousseau. But what if they play the Spanish, right? I thought, is there something similar we can do against the Ruy Lopez? So, pulled out the iPad, and had a look, and I thought, look, is this move stupid or does this move lose? Look at this down here, right? 50% win rate for black against 44. This is the Schliemann defense in the Ruy Lopez. And it's actually the 7th most common reply. But check this out. It's the winningest response to the Ruy Lopez. And again, this is at all levels. Now, if you're like sub 2000 on Lichess, which is like, what's 1800 on Lichess? Probably 1500 or so on chess.com. Then f6 is way down here. Way down here. Sorry, not so f6, f5. f5 way down here, 52% win rate for black. This is the best response, best by test to the Spanish game at the intermediate level. So what is this? And well, I'm going to show you what it is, right? I'll show you what it is. This is our, so let me just, I'm going to delete f5. And we're going to figure this out together. So here's the thing. So from here, there are, so basically the way I would say it is we should be prepared against any move that we're likely to see maybe more than 5% of the time or more than 10% of the time. So a6 here is played, no, this is what we want. Now, 64,000 games only. This is kind of lower level, so I'm just going to bump it up a little bit. 163,000 games, right? So this move is seen 34%. So a third of moves, they're going to play this. Then they're going to play bishop takes, and that is 19%. So 18, 16, 6.5. And then castles, 2.9%. So I don't think we really need to worry about castles. So let me show you the method, right? So I'm going to change this chapter to say 1, or let's say, so we don't get confused with chess notation, number 1, d3. This is the most common move, right? 46 to 48, and this is the chapter. This is the way that we're going, okay? And then we've got a few different responses. F takes e4 is the most common from black, and it's also very good, so that is what we shall play. And then there are a few responses from white, the best of which is d takes. In fact, d takes is played like always, because we're attacking the knight, we're also attacking the pawn here, so that's going to be played. And now we're winning 48% of the time, so how can we make the most of that? We can just bring our knight out. Knight f6 is what the computer says is most winningest for black. And so here white is slightly better, so I might add this to my notation. White is slightly better, but we're in the game. And plus, your typical Ruy Lopez player is going to be quite outside of his comfort zone, right? So then what we can do is we can go back, and instead of d3, right, we can say, okay, bishop takes c6. So we'll go add a new chapter. Number 2, bishop takes c6 is the new chapter. We'll create the chapter, and then, and again, we have to switch the blooming thing over. All right, I'm going to play it through, and you can see it's literally recording this in my study as we go. Right, so knight out, Spanish game, and f5. And then we are looking at bishop takes, and it's going to be d takes, right, which is typical Spanish stuff, okay? And we are winning 56% of the blooming time here. And then again, we're going to have a few different lines that we need to look at, but other than that, happy days. So I'm absolutely delighted. I feel like I've got I've found my little seam of gold that I've been looking for. As a Vienna player, my criteria are, I want to make spicy games, open games, tactical games, right? I want to knock my opponent out of their theory as early as possible and into my own modest preparation as soon as possible. And I would like to, as far as possible, reuse and recycle some of the same ideas, whether I'm playing with the white pieces or the black pieces. And I think that this gives me that kind of approach. So I can play some Vienna games sometimes, I can play some King's Gambit games sometimes, but there will be similar things in many of them because they have this theme of throwing Freddie out in the board, which of course you're not meant to do, but I don't care as long as I win. So there you go. That's an introduction to the Rousseau and the Schliemann with the black pieces to get you into Vienna-like territory as black, and also a little introduction into creating a Lichess study as well. I will link to both the Rousseau study and the Schliemann study as well in the notes here, but we are going to do probably a bit more on this, so look out for dedicated videos on each of these openings. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. See you soon.